Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Naveen, and today we'll be looking at a very important topic that comes in SNAP, and this is for SNAP 2023, which is data sufficiency. Herein, what happens is you are asked a question, and then you are given two supporting statements, generally by the name statement 1 and 2 or statement A and B, and then you are given four options. Now you can answer the given question using only statement 1, only statement 2, either of these statements, both of these statements, neither of the statements. You have to accordingly choose the appropriate option. So that's how we go about it. So let's look at the questions and understand what kind of data sufficiency based questions we get in SNAP. So the first question, let's hope you are able to see everything. Yes. Okay. Read the question and the two statements 1 and 2 carefully and select the appropriate option. 6 people K, J, L, Z and X and C are sitting around a circular table facing inside. Who among the following sits second to the right of L? Now this is something that we need to find out, that what would be the answer for this. I will need space, so what I will do is I'll hide myself so that we have enough space here. Okay. So this is a circular table and there are 6 people sitting. They all are facing inwards, right? Okay, let's use statement 1. J sits adjacent to K. Now whether it is left or right, we don't know that, so leave it as such. C is not a neighbor of X. One person sits between X and J. K sits 3 places away from Z. Now, let's start with one case. Suppose J sits adjacent to K. So J is to the left of K. And then it is given that K sits, one person sits between X and J. So X could be here or X could be the other side. Now it is given that K sits 3 places away from Z. This is not possible in this scenario because it will overlap with X. Z will overlap with X. So definitely X doesn't sit there. So there is one person between X and Z. Then Z sits 3 places away from K, or we can say K sits 3 places away from Z. Then it is given that one person sits between, C is not a neighbor of X, so that means C is a neighbor or C is here. And then we will have the last person who is going to be L. So this is how the 6 people are going to be seated. So let's redraw this from the first statement. We have got L, X, K, J, C and Z. Let's look at the next scenario where J is seated to the right of K. When this happens, then we have got K sits 3 places away from Z, so Z is on the opposite. Then one person sits between X and Z, sorry, X and J. So X has to be here. Then it is given that C is not a neighbor of X, so C sits here. So obviously L will go here. So the next possibility we have is L here, J here, C here, Z here, K here, X here. So these are the two cases we get from statement 1, and the question asked is, who among the following sits second to the right of L? Second to the right of L, it might be C or it might be K. So we can say that from statement 1, we cannot determine something concrete, right? Now let's look at statement 2. X sits opposite to C. So suppose C seated here, X is seated here. We are looking at statement 2. Z is not a neighbor of C. That means Z is seated at either of these two places. Then it is given that L sits second to the right of C. So L sits second to the right of C. So this is where L is. This is where X is going to be. Now we do not know where, sorry, this is Z, not X. Now we do not know where K and J are sitting. So K may be sitting here, J may be sitting here, or J may be sitting here, K may be sitting here. We get two cases for second statement as well. Question asked is, who sits second to the right of L? So L is seated here, second to the right is definitely Z. So it means we can answer this question using only statement 2, as in this question can be answered by one of the statements alone, but cannot be answered by using the other statement alone. So statement 2 alone is able to give us the answer for the given question. Statement 1 alone doesn't. And since we have got an option for statement 2 alone, we shouldn't go ahead and combine and try to figure out the other possibilities, right? Yeah, good afternoon, Sonali. So answer is option A. Okay, let's look at the next question. Study the following question and statements and decide which of the statements is or are sufficient to answer the question. Jackson, Callis, Linda, Marin, Novak, and Omar. In other words, J, K, L, M, and O are standing in a row according to their height from tallest to shortest. Who's standing in the third place of the row? So we always take it from, if this is the ground and this is where the people are standing. So this is how the tallest to smallest will go. We have got a total of 6 people and these are the 6 people. So using statement 1 now, it says Linda is the tallest while Novak is the shortest of all. Right? So that would mean who is standing third place of the row? We don't know. Right? So first statement alone will not give us the answer. Let's look at second statement. Jackson is taller than Callis, who is taller than Omar. So we know that Jackson will be to the left of Callis and Callis is going to be to the left of Omar. But in what order? We do not know. So from second also we will not get the answer. Let's combine both of them. Now, if we try to put JKO in these 4 places, we do not know who is going to be here yet. It may be J, it may be K, or it may be some other guy, right? So, even using both the statements, we are not able to answer this. So, option A says all the statements together are insufficient to answer the question. So, this is going to be the answer. Okay? Even while combining, after combining, we are not able to answer the question. So A is the answer. Okay, next question. 5 friends A, B, C, D and E are sitting in a row. Who is sitting in the middle? Okay, let me unhide myself because I think we have enough space now. Okay. They are sitting in a row. Who's sitting in the middle? So we have got 5 friends, right? So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it says D and B are at the 2 extreme ends. Now, using statement 1, we do know that D and B are at the extreme ends. So we can have D and B here or we can have B and D here because it's not mentioned that who is to the left end, who is to the right end. Excuse me. Who is sitting in the middle? Don't know. So the first statement alone will not give us the answer. Now let's use the second statement. E is to the right of C. Now E is to the right of C, that would mean E is here and C is any place here. If E is here, C is any place here. If E is here, C is any place here. Right? And if E is here, C is here. So we have got a lot of cases. So second statement also will not give us the answer. Let's combine them. Hold on, it should have been only 1 and 2 and not 2 and 3. This is, yeah. 1 second. There is no third statement, isn't it? Yeah. So can we say even after combining, we won't be able to figure it out because C can be here, E can be here, or C can be here, E can be here. Leftover person is going to be here as in A. So the middle person can be anyone. So can we say none of these statements are sufficient enough to answer the question? So option D will be the answer. Okay. Next question. Okay, looks like I'll have to again hide myself. And this is taking a lot of space, so let's minimize this font size. Okay, the question given below is formed by two statements numbered 1 and 2. You have to decide whether the data provided in the statements are sufficient to answer the question. Read both the statements and choose the correct option. We have got 5 friends B to F and they're standing in a playground. In which direction is E with respect to C? So let's use the statement 1. B stands to the north of C. D stands to the southwest of B. So we need to find out what is the relation of E and between E and C. So E is not mentioned in the first one, so obviously we won't be able to answer it. Now let's use the second statement. Second statement says E stands to the west of F. So E stands to the west of F. F stands to the south of D. So if we take this, we don't know where C is. So this will not help us solve the question. Now, if we combine both of them, as in if we try to find out who is the common component in both of these, we will find that it is going to be D. So if we take D, what we will have is B is here, C is here, then we have got D, then we have got F, and then when we have got E. So this is how C and E are related. What is the direction? That's not my concern. My concern is I'm getting a unique scenario wherein I will be able to answer what is the direction of A with respect to C. So can we say both the statements together are sufficient? दोनों मिलाकर आंसर आ जाएगा. Option A says statement 1 alone is sufficient, statement 2 is not. A is not the answer. 2 is alone is sufficient, 1 is not. Both statements 1 and 2 are together necessary. So C will be the answer. Okay. Next question. 7 people are sitting around a circular table facing the center. Who sits third to the right of G? 7 people. Okay. So let's draw a circular table. And we need 7 people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for first statement, and let's draw for second as well. And then later on we will combine if required. Okay, so let's start with statement 1. R and J are not neighbors. Really can't put anything into perspective. 2 people sit between N and J. We don't know left and right. 1 person sit between N and R. Don't know left and right. R sits to the immediate right of S. Now this is something we can begin with. So if we take S here, then we will have R here. One person sits between N and R. So N could be to the right of R or to the left of R. So we have 2 cases now. So suppose I take N here. So J is going to be here. 2 people sit between N and J. Okay. Then it is given that R and J are not neighbors. This makes sense, right? G sits second to the right of J. Second to the right of J, it's not possible in this case. That would mean we have this scenario that N and R, there is 1 person, and N and J, they are opposite, because 2 people sit between N and J. This is the only way we can go about this. अच्छा नहीं, ये भी तो हो सकता था previous case में. This is J and this is N. 2 people sit between N and J. G sits second to the right of J. This is not possible. Okay. Now, if I take this as N, 2 people sit between N and J, we can take J here, but it is given that R and J are not neighbors, so the other place we can put J is here. Then we have G sits second to the right of J, so this is where G is going to be. R and G are not neighbors, so we have got R, J, N, R, S, and G. So these people are seated. We don't know who are the other two people. But anyways, can we figure out as to who sits third to the right of G? So this is G, third to the right of him is going to be R. So using statement 1 alone, we are able to answer the question, right? So in such kind of questions, you have to be very, very careful. Okay. Next one, statement 2. Two people sit between G and N, really can't put anywhere. J sits to the immediate left of N. Now this is something that we can begin with. So suppose N is here, so J is going to be here. Then we have two people sit between G and N. So we can have G at this place, let's say. Then it is given that R sits second to the right of G. This is already occupied by J, so we can't put G there. The other possibility is if G goes here, so that there are two people between G and N, and we have got R sits second to the right of G, so this is where R is going to be. We have taken all the three statements into consideration. Now the question asked is who sits third to the right of G? So third to the right of G is going to be J. So we can answer this question using second statement alone as well. This gives us that particular option which says either of the statements alone can give us the answer. First option says data and statement 1 alone is sufficient, 2 alone is not. 2 alone is sufficient, 1 alone is not. 1 alone or 2 alone is sufficient. So option C. Right? Okay, option C. Next question. How many matches will be played during the tournament? In a cricket tournament, each of the 4 teams will play with every other team exactly once. Is it given that there are only these teams? Okay, it is given that each of the 4 teams are there. So that will be good enough, I believe. Oh, Sonali, that is nice. Yes. Good accuracy as in what is good for you. 47 में से कितने सही हो रहे हैं? 40 सही हो रहे हैं. So since we are looking at the first statement and it says each of the 4 teams, as in there are 4 teams and they'll play with every other team exactly once. We know that this is a round robin scenario where there are going to be 4C2, in other words 6 matches precisely. So there will be 6 matches in the tournament. So we can answer this question using first statement alone. If I look at the second statement, it simply says team D plays the last game and nothing else is given. Obviously, second will not help. So we can say that only one of the statements alone, which is first statement alone, is sufficient. So statement 1 alone is sufficient, while statement 2 alone is not sufficient. So option A, quite easy. So yes, you do get such kind of easy questions which are pretty easy to manipulate, solve. Please remember that even if I did not know the formula, तब भी आंसर हो जाता, because I know 4 teams हैं और सब एक दूसरे के साथ एक बार खेलेंगे. So you'll get unique number of matches. How to calculate it? Of course there is a formula, of course there is an approach. But आपको बस ये confident होना है कि आंसर आ जाएगा, है ना? Okay, the next one. How many matches will be played? Acha, sorry, it's the same question. Next one. In the given question, there is 1 question and 3 statements. 1, 2, and 3 following the question. You have to decide whether the data given in the statements is sufficient to answer the question or not, and choose the correct answer choice accordingly. Read all the statements carefully and find which of these statements is or are sufficient to answer the given question. Okay, so this is one step ahead than data sufficiency. It's a data sufficiency only, but it's more like data sufficiency plus. Normally in data sufficiency, you are given 2 statements and you're asked first se aayega अकेले, second se अकेले आएगा. In this case, they have given you 3 statements, and options are accordingly ki first 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 2 combined, 2 and 3 combined, all of them combined, hai na? So M and N are brothers of P. So we have got from the first statement we see that M and N, sorry, I should use rectangles for this. M and N are brothers of P. Not good enough. So first alone se to nahi aa raha. Second statement, C is the sister of G and N. Oh, I should hide myself, I think. So C is the sister of G and N. So what are the genders of G and N? We don't know, but C is female, that is pretty sure. So second se bhi nahi aane wala answer. Third, C and P are daughters of A. So C and P, they are daughters of A. Question is, how many children does Mr. A have? So we know that C and P are daughters of A, but this is not good enough because we don't know if we have, A has sons or not. Had it been C and P are the only children of A, तब तो आंसर आ जाता, right? So इससे भी नहीं आ रहा. Now what you'll have to do is quickly use a bit of common sense, right? Okay, if we combine all three, because if we combine any two, obviously we will not be able to get the answer. So we can see that these are the children, right? तो तीनों combine करके आना चाहिए या तीनों combine करके भी नहीं आना चाहिए. Since we do not have an option which says all statements together will also not give us the answer, or it's not sufficient enough, that would mean कि मेरे को combine कर लेना चाहिए. So obviously if I combine, what will happen is I will get that A is, since A is Mr., so it's male. So A has 2 daughters, C and P, and then everybody else is male, so that means A will have a son M, N, and G is left. G is also going to be a boy because only C and P are male, female, right? So everybody else is male. So combining all three of them, we will be able to answer that they have 5 kids. He has 5 kids. थोड़ा weird है actually. The reason using which we were taking into consideration the first and second statement कि भाई और बच्चे भी हो सकते हैं. Similarly, how can we be sure that the 3 statements they have covered all the children of A? But then we do not have an option which says तीनों sufficient नहीं है together भी. So we will have to go with option E. Okay. Next question. On which date of the month was Aniket born in September 2010? So मैं थोड़ा छोटा कर देता हूँ so that it's easy to write. Okay. First statement. Aniket was born on a date of the month which was an even number. So it could be anything from 2nd September up to 30th of September, right? Any of the even numbers. So, nahi pata. First alone will not give us the answer. Okay, let's pick the second one. Aniket's date of birth was a double-digit number and a perfect square. A double-digit number and a perfect square, it is going to be 16 or 25. There are 2 possibilities from 1 to 30. So second alone will also not give us the answer. अब अपन जब combine करेंगे, so we need an even number which is a double digit number which is a perfect square from 1 to 30. So 1 to 30 में double digit number is 10 to 30. Even numbers are 10, 12, 15, 14, 16 and so on. Out of that, which is a perfect square? 16 is. So we will get a unique answer. So it means we will have to combine both of them in order to get the answer. So both statements 1 and 2 are together sufficient. Option C. Okay, let's minimize the font size. Okay. Similar question. In which direction is Anud's home with respect to Ghanshyam's home? First option says a person is from Anud's home and walks 10 meters towards it. Then he turns right, walks this and stops. Okay. So a person lives from Anud's home and walks 10 meters east. Then he turns right. So थोड़ा सा ऊपर लिखना पड़ेगा. So this is where Anud's home is. A person walks 10 meters east, takes a right turn, walks 6 meters, again takes a right turn, walks 6 meters, and stops at Ghanshyam's home. So looking at this particular scenario, we can figure out what direction it is. क्या direction है वो मत कोशिश करो find out करने का. You have got a specific initial point and a specific destination, right? So first से तो answer आ जाएगा. Now let's look at the second one. Anud's home is to the east of Berry's home. ठीक है. Berry's home is to the north of Chitra's home. Okay. And Chitra's home is to the west of Ghanshyam's home. So Ghanshyam's home can be anywhere, right? It can be to the west of A. It could be to the immediate south of A. It could be to the east of A. So there are a lot of possibilities where Ghanshyam's home can be. So second se to nahi aayega. So looking at the options, the facts of statement 1 alone are sufficient to answer the question, 2 alone, together, and neither. So obviously 1 alone is sufficient. So the answer is going to be option A. Okay, the next one, I think I'll have to hide myself here. Acha, I'm already hidden. Good everyone. Good Keshav, Vrinda, Yash, Kota, Anmol, Sonali. Good. Okay, Lachi played a certain game in which she was given 4 turns to earn points. She either won or lost on the turn. Each consecutive win on the turn awards more points than the previous win on the turn. Find the number of points that were won by Lachi on the first chance. Okay, so this is more like an LR, a puzzle-based part. Puzzle-based type, right? तो मैं इसको एक काम करता हूँ, थोड़ा छोटा कर देता हूँ, so that I'll have enough space to write. Okay. Lachi won the maximum possible points in the game and received a total of 1300 points. Okay, so she was given 4 rounds, right? 4 turns, not rounds. So turn number 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say there is a total as well. So using the first statement, Lachi won the maximum number of maximum possible points in the game and received a total of 1300. So 1300 here. And it is given that each consecutive win awarded more points than the previous win on the turn. And she won or lost. Okay. So since it is given that Lachi won the maximum possible points, so it could be only possible if she won all of that, right? So win, 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 and win. पर पहला number क्या था, दूसरा क्या था, हमें कुछ नहीं पता, right? So from first alone, we will not get the answer. Now let's look at the second one. The second win on the turn awards 100 points more than the first win on the turn, and the third, so if this is x plus 100, and the third win on the turn awards twice as many points as the second win, so this becomes 2x plus 200. The fourth win on the turn awards thrice as many points as the second win, so this will become 3x plus 300. Fine. So using the second statement, भी हमें नहीं पता, because x can be anything, x can be 1, x can be 2, x can be 1000, हमें नहीं पता. So using second statement alone also we won't be able to answer this. Now let's combine both of them. If we combine both of them, we can be pretty sure that the sum is given as 1300. So we will have 7x plus 600 is equal to 1300. So 7x is equal to 700, x is equal to 100. So we know exactly how much did she win in each of the turns. Question is, find the number of points that were won by Lachi on the first chance. First chance में madam को 100 points आए थे. So can we say if we combine both these statements, we will be able to answer this? Right? That's the answer. Good. Okay, next question. Again, the font looks a little more than required. Hold on. Okay. 7 people reside at a multi-story building and each person lives on a different floor. The ground floor is number 1, the floor above it is number 2 and so on. And the topmost floor is number 7. E lives on the bottommost floor. So what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And it is given that E lives on the bottommost floor. So this is something that we know. We need to find out where does C live, right? So first option, okay, I shouldn't take it. So the first statement says D lives immediately above C. So D lives immediately above C. And neither of them lives immediately above or below E. Immediately above नहीं है, तो below E तो हो नहीं सकता. So not immediately above. So it could be here, it could be here, it could be here. So there are a lot of cases. Nor do they live on the topmost floor. So there are 3 possibilities where D and C can live, right? So मैं काम करता हूँ. I'll write it down. So we have got C and D here. We can have C and D here. We can have C and D here. So actually there are 3 possibilities where EDC can live. Right? So C can reside at 3 different floors. We don't know which one. So definitely first से answer तो नहीं आ रहा. Let's use the second statement now. B and A have 1 floor between them. Of course, E is there. Yeah. So B and A have 1 floor between them with B living above A. So B living above A with a 1 floor gap between them. D lives on an even numbered 4 immediately below A. So this is the sequence that we need. So इसको pull off करते हैं. B blank AD. Since we know that D lives on an even numbered floor, so we can have this D blank A B. Next possibility is D can go at 4th. We can have blank. Then we can have A at 6th. And then we can have B here, which is going to be at 7th. So this is going to give us 2 possibilities. Now, where does C live in this case? Nahi pata. That means we'll have to go ahead and combine them. If we go ahead and combine them, which is the only possibility where this might make sense. B and A have, acha, sorry, I made a mistake here. The gap is between B and A, no? So we have A, then we have gap, and then we have thoda sa aur upar D, gap, A and B. Then we will have, फिर से वही गलती कर दिया. D, A, gap and B. Then we can have D, A, gap and B. D lives at 2nd floor or 4th floor. We can't go above 4th floor. Fine. ठीक है. There's nothing amiss right now. So individually, still we do not know where does C live. So we will go ahead and combine them. If we combine them, do we have a scenario where this will make sense? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we can't have this case. Do we have कोई केस बन रहा है क्या? Everyone? नहीं बन रहा ना? हाँ, I got it. B and A के बीच gap है. It's not possible, right? So we can have second wala idhar, third idhar. So there is a block. There is a block here. There is a blockage here. There is a blockage here. And there is a blockage here. So there is nothing common between them. So दोनों मिलाकर भी नहीं आएगा. Right? We won't be able to answer this even after we combine both these statements. So D is going to be the answer. Statements 1 and 2 together are not sufficient to answer the question. No, not the last one. Last one says that together are necessary. I'm saying दोनों मिलाकर भी नहीं आएगा. Because it says that each person lives on a different floor. We will have either 2 people residing on the same floor or more than 2 people residing on the same floor. Right? Okay. So D is the answer. Okay. 12th. The question given below consists of 2 statements. Same logic. So A and B are roaming in a market. They meet each other at some point. The meeting point is in which direction from the starting point? A starts from a journey. So statement 1. थोड़ा छोटा कर दे क्योंकि I think काफी ज़्यादा लिखना पड़ेगा. So font size थोड़ा छोटा. Okay. A starts his journey from a shop. This is A. Goes 6 meters towards the north. So this is where A started, goes 6 meters towards the north. And then turns towards the right and covers 4 meters. And at last goes 8 meters towards the north. Whereas B starts the journey from the same shop and goes 7 meters. Okay, this is weird. 7 meters towards the east and then turns towards north and covers 4 meters. Okay, so these are the 2 points where they are. Question is, they meet each other. Okay, so B did not start from this same shop. So either the starting point is same or their meeting point is same. It is given that they meet each other at the same point. So they will not meet, right? This is weird. Okay. Fine. Statement 2 says, A starts his journey from a shop and goes 4 meters towards the north. So he goes 4 meters towards the north. So this is A. And turns towards the right and covers 6 meters. And goes 2 meters towards the north. Whereas B starts the journey from the same shop, goes 6 meters towards the north. Okay, so I will draw a dotted for B. So he goes 6 meters here. So it reaches the same horizontal point as A's destination. and go 6 meters towards the north and then go 6 meters towards the east. Okay, this makes sense. So A and B, they meet in this case. They start from the same point, it's given in the statements. They meet at the same point as given. So the meeting point is in which direction? So this is their meeting point and this is their starting point, right? So we know that it's northeast, पर वो हमें बताना नहीं है, हमें ये बताना है statement 2 से आंसर आएगा कि नहीं. So we can say that statement 2 alone is sufficient, which gives us option B as the answer. Let's hope कि B answer हो, क्योंकि B is the answer. Data sufficiency is very interesting topic. Okay, if you solve questions of data sufficiency, बहुत fun है, because it's more like a puzzle and later on you realize कि आपने कुछ mistake किया है कि नहीं. So there is a big pro and a con part of data sufficiency. The pro part is if you solve enough questions on data sufficiency, your logical reasoning, your quantitative aptitude, they both are going to get very good. DS जितना ज़्यादा solve करोगे उतना concepts खुलते हैं, because you know reading the statements you don't have to answer. आपको बस ये figure out करना है कि whether these supporting statements are enough to solve the question. This helps a lot in LR, DI, not basically DI, majorly in LR and QA. While you're reading a question, 3 statement, 4 statement question, and every time you read a statement, you're like, इससे आंसर निकलेगा कि नहीं? अच्छा, अब now this is something that the next statement gives us. Will this now help us to solve the question or not? So this particular approach makes your QA and LR very, very strong. Okay, so if somebody wants to improve hugely on either of these two, solve DS के hundreds of questions. आप देखोगे कि वो आपको बहुत help करते हैं. The cons part of DS is it's very difficult to master. As in, if your concepts are not clear, you will be making the same mistakes over and over and again. You will never realize कि चल क्या रहा है आपके साथ. So it's very much concept based. कि you know, in order to calculate averages, let's say for example, आपको सारे numbers नहीं चाहिए होते, right? You need the value or values and the number of times they occur, as in ratio of the frequencies is required. Actual magnitudes doesn't really help. Frequencies ka ratio helps, right? So similar logic is used in every part of QA. Okay, so you guys can unlock your free trial of BYJU'S exam prep app. All you need to do is download this app from the link given in the description from Google Play. And everyone who is watching, please, before you log out, before you close the browser, if you move over to some other channel or you watch something else, please make sure that you like this video. And if possible, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe it. Share it with your friends who are also targeting SNAP exam. And people who wish to write more mocks in order to improvise and practice on the actual exam, you can get our CAT and non-CAT 2023 test series curated by IIM alumni. So it consists of more than 80 mocks, 10,000 practice questions, video solutions for all the questions, 3 already open mocks with video solutions, and of course detailed mock analysis knowing your strengths and weaknesses. XAT 2024 crash course is about to begin from 19th of December at 7 p.m. So it's 15 power-packed live sessions that will consist of all the probable questions that you may get in the exam, and section-wise you will be able to improve your scores on. And anyone who has written CAT this year and hasn't checked out their percentile and want to know their percentile and their score, you can go to the link given in the description as well as in the chat. Click on it. You can also figure out which colleges or college you are eligible for, even though you may not have thought about it. So it will definitely help you a lot. All you have to do is go to this link, byju's.com/free-cat-prep/cat-college-predictor. This link is also given, it is also there as the pinned comment in the chat. And do not forget to join us next on 17th and 22nd of December for first impression and detailed analysis of SNAP. And please do follow and check out our social media handles and pages. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining. I will now check the chat to see if you guys have any queries. Sure, yes, we'll do that. Slot 1 of allow how many questions to target. Brinda, if you go for snap first day analysis 10th, ठीक है 10th को हुआ था, YT पे available है. You will see, what was the level of the exam and how many questions one should practice. ठीक है, आप एक बार वो चेकआउट कर लो, क्योंकि वो फिर इट्स गोइंग टू बी रिपीटेटिव अदरवाइज, राइट. मैं भी वही बोल रहा हूँ कितने क्वेश्चंस करने हैं. इट्स एक्चुअली नॉट अबाउट द क्वेश्चंस, इट्स अबाउट हाउ मेनी मार्क्स यू नीड, which in turn means how many questions you're going to do and what should be your accuracy. आप सारे कर लो, जीरो एक्यूरेसी है, तो वो बात नहीं होगी ना कि कोई बोल रहा है सारे क्वेश्चंस करने पड़ेंगे, राइट. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again very soon. Until then, take care. Yes, it doesn't matter English is weak or not. आपका टारगेट मिनिमम 35 तो होना चाहिए, ठीक है. आप 35 दो सेक्शन से लोगे तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट है ना. मतलब एक हाथ से 20 किलो उठा रहे हो, उसकी जगह दो हाथों से 20 kgs पिक करोगे, इट्स इजियर, राइट. शोल्डर्स पे पिक करोगे, यू हैव गॉट मोर area to take care of it. Similarly, if you try to minimize a section, तो फिर मतलब एक सेक्शन मिनिमल कर दोगे तो दोनों सेक्शन में आपको ज्यादा पढ़ना पड़ेगा, ज्यादा करना पड़ेगा, एक्यूरेसी स्ट्रॉन्ग करनी पड़ेगी. यू कांट मिस आउट ऑन इवन अ सिंगल क्वेश्चन, राइट. सो आप रादर देन कि दो सेक्शंस को और इंप्रूव करो, बिकॉज देयर इज अ लिमिट टू व्हाट एनीबडी कैन रीच एट, कि भाई 20 क्वेश्चंस 25 क्वेश्चंस में एक लिमिट तक ही आप सही कर सकते हो और अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हो. The only way is to improve English now. ठीक है, so English को आप बेटर करने की कोशिश करो, VA अच्छा करो,